Hi, this is Johnny Bruce. You are listening to Afterlife Conversations. Imagine the space where spirit speaks, science listens, and the invisible becomes real. In this podcast, we explore the profound connections between our world and the next. I will be your guide on this journey of discovery, healing, and understanding. Each episode, we delve into the stories behind my guided meditations, revealing the messages from those who have crossed over and the wisdom they share with us. In today's episode, we are delving into the topic of crossing over with love. Let me share with you a mediumship reading I gave for a client named Jeanette. She specifically asked me to connect with her brother, who had passed. I was able to connect with him. He knew why she wanted this reading, as our loved ones often do. He didn't hesitate and began to describe his passing. He was rushing through a long hallway carrying a briefcase. Suddenly, his chest began to hurt. He fell to the ground with many people passing by. A few stopped checking on him, while others continued focusing on their destination without thought or anything else going on around them. I knew the feeling of being alone in a sea of people. Jeanette's brother was in an airport. When I shared the location and the event with Jeanette, she was able to validate that for me. Because she wasn't there when it happened, it left her with questions she couldn't answer. Her question for me was whether he felt alone, desperate for family or someone he knew was to be by his side. Jeanette's brother gave me the gift of seeing through his eyes. I could see two people near him who were very clear. I could sense their energy and their relationship to her brother. I asked Jeanette if her aunt and uncle were important to her. She said they had helped raise her and her brother. I shared with Jeanette that they were there with him when he passed. Jeanette broke down in tears. Her aunt and uncle had passed away many years before her brother. She was relieved to know they were with him in spirit. I explained that loved ones come to our side when our time is near. I asked her to feel comfort knowing they were there with him and for him. Her brother gave Jeanette a message. He knew she had tormented herself for years. She regretted not being with him when he crossed over. He wanted her to worry no more. He was not alone. What do we know about those final moments? Yes, we see the moment on television or in a movie, but what do we know to be true? What I do know is that people try to orchestrate their passing to the best of their ability. I've had clients come to a reading feeling guilty that they were not in the room when their loved one had passed. Most of the time, during a reading, Spirit shares they wanted for their loved one to leave so they don't have to witness the death. People will often ask me, so what happens next? It is the only experience every single human being throughout history has shared. It is the finish line we all cross in this human existence. Some call it the end, but is it? Today, we're stepping onto the threshold. We're looking at the transition from life to death through two very different lenses: the cold, precise machinery of science and the ancient, expansive wisdom of spirituality. So what happens when the light goes out? And more importantly, does it ever really go dark? Let's start with the how. In the world of biology, death isn't a single moment. It's a process. Imagine a grand theater slowly dimming its lights, one by one. First, there's clinical death. The heart stops. The lungs go still. For a few brief moments, we are in a biological gray zone. With modern medicine, we can sometimes pull someone back from this ledge. But if the oxygen doesn't return, the theater enters biological death. The brain, the most oxygen-hungry organ we have, begins to shut down permanently. But here's where it gets strange. Recent studies have shown that at the very moment of death, the brain doesn't just flicker out. It often experiences a massive final surge. We've observed bursts of gamma waves, highly organized electrical activity surging through the brain. Some scientists think this might be the biological root of the life flashing before your eyes phenomenon. It's as if the brain is performing one final intense symphony before the curtain falls. In 2023, a landmark study provided some of the most startling evidence yet. Researchers mentioned the EEGs of 4 dying patients as they were taken off life support. In 2 of them, the moment oxygen stopped, the brain didn't just go dark. It exploded with gamma wave activity. These are the same high-frequency waves associated with deep focus, memory retrieval, and dreaming. This gamma surge suggests that even when the body appears unresponsive, the brain may be engaging in a highly organized internal experience, a biological final symphony. To the spiritual mind, death isn't a shutdown, it's a migration. Many traditions believe that when the physical vessel fails, the self or the soul doesn't disappear. It simply changes frequency. Think of it like a radio. If you smash the radio, the music doesn't die. The music is a signal that exists independently of the hardware. In this view, the transition is a shedding of weight. It's the life review, that profound moment where consciousness expands to see the ripple effect of every choice made. It's the meeting of guides or ancestors who stand at the gate. Spirituality argues that we aren't biological machines. We are localized points of consciousness, returning to a universal ocean, the source from whence we came. What's fascinating is that these two worlds, science and spirit, are starting to whisper to each other. Physicist Sir Roger Penrose and anesthesiologist Stuart Hameroff proposed a theory called ORC-OR, orchestrated objective reduction. They argue that consciousness isn't just a byproduct of neurons firing. It exists at a quantum level. The theory states that when the heart stops, this quantum information isn't destroyed. It leaks or dissipates into the universe at large. If the patient is resurrected, the information returns, as in near-death experience. If they die, it remains as a permanent part of the cosmos. Take the first law of thermodynamics. Energy cannot be created or destroyed, only transformed. If we are made of energy, then us, ending, is a physical impossibility. We simply change form. Consider the butterfly. Did the caterpillar die or simply become the energetic goo that transforms into the butterfly? Then there's the hard problem of consciousness, the topic of episode 13, which delved into consciousness. If you haven't explored the topic, go and listen to the fascinating talk on life with consciousness in that episode. Science can map every neuron in your brain, but it still can't explain how those physical cells create the feeling of being you, the subjective experience of love, or the color blue, or the fear of the dark. Spirituality suggests that it's because consciousness isn't produced by the brain, it's filtered by it. So where does that leave us? Perhaps death is like the horizon, a line that limits our sight, but not the world itself. Whether it's a surge of gamma waves or a journey to a higher vibration, the transition remains the most profound mystery of our existence. One thing is certain, We all eventually find out what's on the other side of the threshold. I can tell you from my conversations with Spirit, there is no vengeful God ready to judge you when you arrive at the pearly gates, or a devil to take you to hell. Your only judge will be yourself as you reflect on the decisions you made in life. Your loved ones will come to check on you. They will guide you if you ask. They will be with you when you are ready to cross over. I had one client call me from their mother's hospital room. She indicated that the end was near for their mother, who kept referencing a loved one who had been coming to talk with them in the hospital. When they asked their mother who it was, they wouldn't say. So they called me and asked, who could it be? I was able to tap into the energy in the room, and it was a cousin who was standing in the corner of the room that only the mother could see. So now it's time. Let's move on to a guided meditation. This guided meditation is designed to bridge the gap between the physical and the spiritual, using the principles of attunement and harmony to thin the veil. So let's find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Sit or lie comfortably, ensuring your spine is straight to allow for the free flow of energy. Close your eyes. Take a deep, intentional breath in through your nose, filling your lungs completely. Hold it for a count of 3, and exhale slowly through your mouth, releasing the weight of the day. With every breath, feel your body becoming heavier, sinking into the support beneath you. Imagine a soft, golden light beginning at the soles of your feet. This is the light of pure consciousness. Feel it move up through your ankles, your knees, and your hips, relaxing every muscle it touches. The light rises through your heart, softening any tension, and flows down your arms to your fingertips. Finally, it reaches your crown, bathing your entire being in a warm, protective glow. You are safe. You are held. Now, shift your focus from the physical to the vibrational. Imagine your consciousness is like a dial on a radio. You're slowly turning that dial, moving away from the static of the physical world, the sounds, the worries, the bills, and tuning into a higher, more subtle frequency. Visualize a shimmering veil in front of you. It isn't a wall, it's a mist of light. As you move toward it, you feel a sense of profound harmony. The air feels thinner, lighter, and infused with a sense of unconditional love that science cannot measure, but your soul recognizes instantly. Step through the mist. You find yourself in a place of perfect peace. This is your inner sanctuary, a landscape that feels more real than the world you left behind. Perhaps it's a garden in eternal bloom, a quiet beach at dawn, or a familiar room filled with soft light. Notice the colors. They are more vibrant, pulsing with a life force of their own. This is the environment of the soul. In the distance, you see a figure approaching. As they draw closer, a wave of recognition washes over you. This is a loved one who has already made their transition, someone whose energy is intertwined with yours. Don't try to see them with your physical eyes. Feel them with your spiritual, emotional intelligence. Recognize the unique signature of their soul. They reach out and take your hand, or perhaps they simply stand in your presence. Spend a few moments in this shared space. Notice how your vibrations begin to harmonize with theirs. Feel the final symphony of connection that exists beyond time and space. No words are needed. Take a moment and feel their message directly in your heart. It is time to return, but you carry this attunement back with you. Thank your loved one, knowing the bridge between you is now permanently open. Slowly begin to bring your awareness back to the weight of your body. Wiggle your fingers and toes, and when you're ready, open your eyes. Welcome back. Take a moment to just be in the space you've created. We've traveled a long way today. What we've discovered is that science and spirituality aren't arguing. They are simply describing the same mountain from different sides. One tracks the footprint, the other tracks the path. One studies the vessel, the other honors the light within it. If there is one thing to take away from our exploration of the threshold, it is this: the transition is not an exit. It's an evolution. Whether you lean towards the laws of thermodynamics, knowing your energy can never be destroyed, or you lean toward the wisdom of the ancients, knowing you are a spark of the divine, the conclusion is the same. You are part of a continuous, unbreakable process. Death is not the opposite of life. It is a part of it, a change in frequency, a shedding of the heavy for the light. It is what we know to be true. In this process, there will always be loved ones with you, and they will be there with you when you are crossing over with love. Thank you for walking this edge with me today. Carry that sense of attunement with you. Live with the clarity of someone who knows the end is just a new beginning, and love with the intensity of someone who knows that goodbye is only a temporary static on the line. Until next time, I'm Johnny Bruce. Stay curious, stay grounded, and keep tuning into the symphony. And always keep listening, because as you know, that voice in your head may not always be your own.